Hundreds of Nigerians flocked to sign the condolence register for a national hero, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, the king of Afrobeat. He had been ill for several weeks, but had refused to see a doctor until shortly before his death.
We do not weep for him. I think we weep for ourselves if we have to weep at all. And I will advise all Nigerians to be proud that he ever lived.
This is a man who is going to live forever because of his work, because of the contribution he's made to the arts. And even though he's no longer with us, but his name has more or less been imprinted in the sands of time.
Fela was known not just throughout Nigeria but across the world for his unique music and his style. A saxophonist and a composer as well as a singer, Fela Kuti dominated Nigeria's music scene in the 1970s and 80s. He won a reputation for smoking marijuana openly and sleeping with large numbers of women. Fela's music captured Nigeria's malaise as his song hit out against corruption and social injustice in a country which has been ruled by a succession of military governments. A rebel to the core, he was arrested numerous times. When Fela's family announced that the cause of his death was AIDS, there was a moment of confused silence in the hall.
Fela's condition was so serious that when he finally agreed to go to a hospital, that by the time the diagnosis of AIDS arrived, he was in no position to comprehend the diagnosis. So I don't really know that he knew that he had AIDS.
Fela is the most public figure in a country with a rapidly growing AIDS problem to have been known to have died of the disease so far. His family says if he had known he had AIDS before, he would have made it public.
Nigeria is in mourning for Fela. He was far more than a musician. He was a national hero. And for many Nigerians, his death marks the end of an era. Hilary Anderson, BBC News, Lagos. Okay.
The road to Samarkand, ancient trading post of the East, is once again set to become the highway for riches. After a century of Russian, then Soviet domination, the home of Tamerlane, the warrior king, is now the nation-state known as Uzbekistan. The communist yoke makes way for the market. And there, in the vanguard, lethal perhaps, but lucrative, the cigarette. BAT, the London-based British-American tobacco, 3 years ago took over the old state-run cigarette factory in the capital Tashkent. The operations director says they've effected a transformation.
If you look at the production, the month before we started the joint venture was around about 80 million cigarettes, and last month we produced 800 million cigarettes here, and so that's a tenfold increase.
Well, who's smoking all these cigarettes then?
At the moment our focus is on Uzbekistan itself, and so it's the people within Uzbekistan, and the population's around about 22 million, and of those roughly 4 million smoke.
BAT's putting over $300 million, around £200 million, into buying 97% of Uzbek tobacco. They're the country's biggest investor, welcomed by the Prime Minister, smokers cough and all.
First of all, we need to reorganize the structure of our economy. And when we speak of investment, we mean modern technology, modern production methods, which will allow us increasingly to develop our industrial side. It's very important to know all the principles of market relationships. And working with BAT, we're acquiring experience. BAT is not only investing in production, it is also investing in human resources.
So the message seems to be this latest Western influx is a wonder. Everybody wins. And yet more people are smoking.
In Uzbekistan, the conflict between economics and health is made stark. While the government, in desperate need of hard currency, has welcomed BAT's huge investment with both hands, health campaigners are convinced it's a deal with the devil. They believe that Western manufacturing and marketing techniques will ultimately lead to untold damage and death.
This is Trojan's horse. This is play with the devil. This is a very dangerous game. $300 million in the economy of Uzbekistan. It means that we have probably 300 million